Your movement, not only the Moral Mondays movement, but several of the other movements that you're involved with, in my humble opinion, should have much more coverage in every media, not only the independent media, but in the mainstream media that we're currently getting. When the Tea Party was vogue, three or four of them could get together and get national coverage on every single major news station. Tell me about, in your opinion, that is, the complicity of, let's say, somewhat the mainstream media and us not getting, when I say us, I mean those who are in the know about what's right for the country, getting those notions into the mainstream. What's the complicity as you see it with the mainstream media?
Well, you know, this group, the so-called religious right, has deep history that goes all the way back to slave master religion. They have had always deep financing, deep commitment. I was reading something the other day where the spiritual mobilization group that was formed to try to block the New Deal in the 1930s and 40s, Kevin Cruz in his book talks about the purchasing of the American pulpit, lays out how much money was given to them by big corporations and how they set them up in the media and put before them every tool. And we see that somewhat today, but the media today should not follow that. You know, last week when Franklin Graham had 250 people sign a letter call for prayer for Trump, you heard it on almost all the media. We have over 5,000 signatures. We have not just Christians, but Christians, Muslims, Jews, and others. And we are pushing for it to get in the media. They cannot be allowed, and we cannot be complicit in allowing this form of modern day, what I call modern day heresy, and it's not heresy, it's certainly theological malpractice, to have kind of a carte blanche when it comes to the media, and there be no challenge to that. We have to raise this, and the media has to not, as I say, fall into the trap of the puny, the anemic language of left versus right. If they are having access all the way to the White House, they must be challenged. Just like what we're saying, there should be an examination of it. Let's have the open conversation, the open debate. Let's talk about it. Let's look at what our deepest religious values actually say. When you're talking about clergy that are coming together this Wednesday in a way that we've not seen, right down Pennsylvania Avenue, clergy from all of our major religious ministers like Rabbi Waskow, who traces his history all that way back to Rabbi Heschel, who stood with Dr. King, who's in his late 80s, but says, I can no longer just sit on the sideline in the midst of this. This is a serious time for this nation, and we are seeing too much endorsement of policies in the name of religion that are actually counter our deepest religious values, and the media cannot really sit on the sideline. If they've given this kind of time to the so-called extreme religious right, I don't use those terms, then there must be a counterbalance to that. It must be, and we can have nothing less than that.